Have you ever made a decision in the heat of anger, only to regret it later? A sharp word, a choice made in a flash of frustration. We've all been there. Those moments when a storm of emotion takes over, clouding our judgment. It's a powerful force. But what if I told you that within that storm, there is always a moment of choice? A single breath that holds the power to change everything, not just for you, but for everyone around you. Today's story is a powerful testament to that very idea. Our journey begins in a faraway kingdom, a land bathed in sunlight and prosperity. Here lived a young king named David. At just 25, he inherited the throne after his father's sudden passing. The crown felt heavy, a constant reminder of the great man he had to follow. David was ambitious, eager to prove his worth and etch his name into the annals of history. Though young, he wasn't alone. Guiding him was Edward, his chief minister and lifelong mentor. Edward had served David's father with unwavering loyalty and had held David as a boy, teaching him not just policy, but character. He was the calm voice in the storm, the steady hand on the rudder of the state. He instilled in the young king the virtues of kindness, the strength in patience, and the unmatched power of wisdom. For a while, under their joint guidance, the kingdom flourished. Markets overflowed, fields yielded bountiful harvests, and the people were content. But prosperity can be fragile. Then came the crisis. It started with unseasonably dry winds and clouds that refused to give rain. A severe food shortage loomed, born from a catastrophic mistake Edward made in forecasting the weather. The bedrock of the kingdom had developed a crack. Panic spread like wildfire. The people's contentment turned to fear, their praise to blame. The pressure mounted on the young king, and his ambition curdled into desperation. Blinded by frustration and public anger, King David made a decision he would soon regret. In a packed throne room, he publicly denounced his mentor. Without thinking, without a moment of the calm counsel Edward himself had taught him, he banished the very man who had guided him since childhood from the kingdom forever. Edward, a man of immense dignity, left quietly. He journeyed to a small, forgotten village, trading his silken robes for simple cloth and his scepter for a shovel. He embraced a humble life as a farmer. Though he once commanded treasuries, he found a new kind of wealth in simplicity and service. The villagers, initially wary, grew to love him. They saw his wisdom not in grand decrees, but in how he helped them mend a fence or rotate their crops. They turned to him for guidance, advice, and the quiet wisdom that radiated from him. But back in the gleaming palace, David felt the true weight of his impulsive decision. The food crisis raged on, and his new advisors offered only flattery. Ruling without Edward's honest counsel became an impossible burden. Every empty chair in the council room was a monument to his mistake. With every new challenge, regret gnawed at him, a constant, bitter companion. He realized he had acted not as a king, but as a scared, angry boy trading true wisdom for the fleeting satisfaction of rage. Overwhelmed by the void Edward had left, King David grew desperate as the kingdom's problems mounted. He dispatched soldiers across the land, but the search proved fruitless. Days bled into weeks, and the soldiers returned with only empty hands. The king's hope dwindled to a faint ember, and he feared he had lost his mentor forever. Just as despair took hold, a memory surfaced. He recalled Edward's gentle voice from his youth. True wisdom isn't about forcing an answer. It's about creating the conditions for it to reveal itself. The words sparked an idea. He realized he couldn't find Edward by searching for the man, but by creating a puzzle only his mentor could solve. Inspired, David devised a brilliant test. He sent empty clay jars to every village with a baffling demand: fill this jar with wisdom. The alternative was stark. Should you fail, the jar must be returned filled with your most precious jewels. It was an impossible challenge, a riddle cast across the kingdom, designed to find one specific mind. When the decree reached Edward's secluded village, confusion turned to fear. Fill a jar with wisdom? The leader muttered. Panic spread like wildfire. They were a simple farming community with no jewels to spare. "The king will punish us all," one cried. The empty jar sat in the village square, a terrifying symbol of their impending doom. But amid the chaos, Edward stepped forward, his presence a calming anchor. While others saw a threat, he saw a clever question from an old friend. A gentle smile touched his lips. "Do not be afraid," he said, his voice steady. "Hand me the jar. This is a puzzle. With patience and a change of perspective, the answer will reveal itself." On his farm, his eyes fell upon a tiny pumpkin. Inspiration bloomed. He carefully guided the small fruit through the jar's narrow neck, leaving it attached to the life-giving vine. Day after day, he tended to it, a quiet ritual of nurturing potential. Weeks passed and the pumpkin swelled, growing until it filled the jar completely, a perfect living solution. Once it could grow no more, Edward severed the vine. He attached a simple note. "Wisdom, like this pumpkin, is grown with patience. To enjoy the fruit, you must break the jar, but true wisdom preserves both." He then sent his profound living message back to the king, confident its meaning would be understood. When David saw the impossible pumpkin and read the note, he was stunned. It was a profound lesson. Wisdom must be nurtured, not commanded. The king's pride shattered. He knew only Edward could teach such a thing. Overcome with remorse, David didn't send a messenger. He rushed from the palace himself to find his friend, apologize, and finally bring him home. Lessons from the story. The story of King David and Edward is a treasure trove of wisdom. Let's unlock the 4 key lessons that can transform our own challenges. First, don't decide in anger. King David's rage almost led to disaster. When emotions run high, our judgment is clouded. Decisions made in that heat often lead to lasting regret. True strength is stepping back, allowing the storm to pass. A calm mind isn't just peaceful, it's your most powerful strategic asset. Second, patience creates solutions. In a world that demands instant results, we forget that some problems can't be forced. Like Edward's pumpkin, our best ideas need time and space to develop. Patience isn't just waiting, it's the active cultivation of a better outcome. Real wisdom takes time to grow. Third, true wisdom is simple. We often search for complex answers, but Edward's solution was brilliantly straightforward. The most powerful answers aren't found through brute force, but through a change in perspective. They are the simplest ideas, born not from struggle, but from a moment of calm clarity. And fourth, value those who guide you. Edward was King David's anchor in the storm. Don't take your mentors, teachers, or wise friends for granted. Their perspective is a gift that can save you from your own blind spots. Losing them may cost you far more than you realize. So, the next time you're faced with a challenge, remember this story. When anger rises, pause, breathe. Channel Edward's patience and David's eventual humility. Remember that wisdom isn't rushed, it's grown with patience, clarity, and guidance. If this story inspired you, don't keep it to yourself. Share this message with someone who needs a reminder that the most powerful solutions come from a place of calm, patient wisdom. Grow your wisdom. And before you go, hit that subscribe button to Fuel for Winners, where every story is a step closer to becoming the strongest, wisest, and most unstoppable version of yourself. Remember, wisdom grows in patience, not in haste. Your future self will thank you for the calm choices you make today. This is Fuel for Winners, fueling your journey to greatness, one story at a time. Subscribe and hit the bell to join our community of winners. Until next time, stay strong, stay wise, and stay unstoppable.